be upside down for the first 10 seconds. Always.
Is that how it is?
Yeah, I guess. Every time I watch, it's like, it starts
Is
that way.
that part of the algorithm?
It's
I don't-
YouTube. It's just YouTube.
Just YouTube.
We should have TikTok.
Okay. I'll call to order the city council meeting for August 11th, 2022. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Dave Webb. Here. Kevin Kadada.
Here.
Tim Ruth.
Here.
Cindy Fuhr.
Here.
And Scott Palava.
Here.
Okay, tonight's agenda goes through 10J. In addition, deletions or corrections to the agenda.
Did you want to add that?
Oh, yeah, we could. Yeah, if we could consider adding the change of the September 29th meeting, move to that Monday. What would that be, the 25th?
26th, I believe.
26th?
Would you like that added as item K?
Yes, please. Yep.
Move to add that to the agenda?
Motion by Councilman Palava,
Second.
second by Councilperson Fuhr. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of minutes. Consider approval of the minutes from the July 25th special meeting, the July 28th, 2022 regular meeting, and the August 3rd, 2022 special meeting. In addition, deletions or corrections to the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes as presented.
Motion by Councilman Kadada, second by Councilman Webb. Any further discussion?
There was one, I thought,
Oops.
for the August. It was a meeting that we had in the morning, and it had that we adjourned at PM, should be AM, we didn't. Have to find the right minutes page.
Good catch.
The special meeting of August 3rd.
Yeah, PM.
Should be AM. Okay. But somebody's paying attention.
Motion approved with that correction?
Motion by Councilman Palava,
Second.
second by Councilperson Fuhr. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There are no public hearings. Presentation of citizens' petitions and comments. Comments limited to 2 minutes. Anybody off the floor? Now is your opportunity to speak. Okay, there's nothing on the consent agenda. There's no old business. On to new business. Introduction of full-time police officer Cody Brotherton, Jason Schmitz, Chief of Police. Welcome, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. So you can remove that.
Okay. We'll go that. We'll call it L. Okay. Consider approval of specifications of a 3,000-gallon tanker truck and authorize staff to advertise for bids. Dave Fluke, Fire Chief. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, council and mayor. Probably a little over a year ago, we put together a truck committee to come up with a spec to put out for bids for a new tanker truck to replace our aging 1,500-gallon tanker. We had 3 members on the committee, Joe Pumper, Dean Dubon, and Nick Cockleen, and they met with a vendor that helped us put together a spec sheet. Tanker trucks, we pretty much use them out in the country when no hydrants are available. I mean, they're kind of the backbone of the fire department, haul water. Without them, we don't have any water. So the truck we'll be replacing would be our 1978 Chevy C65, and again, that's the 1,500-gallon tanker. I'm sure you've probably seen it around town. It's got a few rust holes in it now, and starting to have some electrical issues with it also. And it's served its time, and it does need to get replaced. The proposed new truck will be a 3,000 gallon tanker, pretty similar to the 3,000 gallon tanker we have now. Probably look almost the same with some additions. We'll have better scene lighting on it and a little more crew comfort. We'll get it with a air conditioned cab. You know, let the tank truck drivers have some comfort, but mainly it'd be upgraded electronics and better scene lighting. The estimated cost is probably gonna be $285,000 to $300,000. The money has been set aside over the last few years in the budget. The townships have given their blessing for this. And proposed delivery date, 1.5 to 2 years, and that kind of depends on supply chain issues. Hopefully things are starting to loosen up, but everybody's saying truck chassis are hard to get, so.
Okay.
I guess I'm asking for approval to submit, put an ad out, accept bids to build a new tanker for the fire department. Any questions?
I don't think so.
No, I'm glad you got the surrounding townships on board and.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, for them, it was a pretty easy sell. I mean, it's pretty important to them, so.
Right.
Right.
I make a motion, we approve RFP for the 3,000 gallon tanker for the Lonsdale Fire Department.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kadada, second by Councilman Webb. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work and being proactive with the capital outlay programs and all that kind of stuff. Good job. Consider approval of change order number 6 in the amount of $40,356.80 for the new police facility. John McNamara of Walden. Welcome, sir.
Evening, Mayor and Council. It's good to be here again, especially because we're in the building now, so that's a good thing.
It is.
So a couple of things just to visit on. Obviously, they are in the building right now. They're pretty well wrapped up with everything. I think we probably have another week of miscellaneous punch listing, cleanup things in there. We are working on, this will not be the last change order. It will be a small one for, we're working with the contractor on some non-conforming work related to the paving out there. So we'll be working with them on getting a credit back for some of that to give value to the city for that. So we will do one last final change order to wrap things up. We do not have a pay request today. We just need to wrap up this change order. It consists of a lot of items on there. I'm not intending to go through every single item on there unless council has questions on it. Much of it is coordination with technology and other things in the building, furniture, adding some card readers and some of those types of things to the building. A couple of coordination items with the building official to get occupancy on a couple of areas, some work around the storm shelter that needed to get done up at the parapet. But a lot of these have been out there for quite a while. One of our goals is always to make sure that the city's getting fair value for the work, and so we go back and forth with the contractor until we're comfortable that the number is what it should be, and it's vetted out through ourselves, the engineers, and then we meet with the city administrator to make sure that we're comfortable moving forward with these. So this really does clean up everything on the project. We probably haven't been to the council for a change order in quite a while, so it's just kind of time to clean up and get moving towards project closeout and kind of final paperwork on it. So if there are specific questions, I'd be happy to go through them, but we would look for any feedback from council and approval of the change order so we can get that signed and sent on to the contractor.
Just one thing that I noticed, and I don't know if it's a big issue, on the AIA document.
Yep.
It says that the address is 1400 Commerce Street, and it's Commerce Drive.
Okay, we can
So I don't
change
know if that matters.
We'll change
That's
it. We
okay.
haven't sent it out for signature yet.
Okay.
We want to get this approved here, and then we can send it on to the contractor for signature.
Okay.
I assume staff and police chief have looked through these items here.
Yes, and like the card readers and things like that came
Yep.
from staff.
Okay.
Yep.
Overall budget, are we fairly close?
we had a very nice value engineering deduct change order at the very beginning, so we haven't really spent much beyond that at this point in time. So we're slightly positive of the original contract price, but not by much.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve change order number 6 in the amount of $40,356.80.
Motion by Councilman Palava,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fair. Any further discussion? I assume you like the building there, Chief?
Yeah, very much.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So one last item for the council, just informational. We've been chatting with the chief about doing a ribbon cutting open house.
Mhm.
I believe it's scheduled for the 30th from 5 to 7. Working with the chamber to actually have, an actual ribbon cutting ceremony there. And so for those that want to say some words and stuff like that, that'd be a great opportunity for yourselves and for the public to come through and tour the building and kind of celebrate getting that project done. It was a nice long construction process, and we're all excited that it's all done, and we would enjoy coming out and being part of the ribbon cutting.
I think that'd be very nice. I mean, I think there's obviously a lot of community support, and I think they'd like to see what their tax dollars went to, and and all those kind of things. So yeah, I think that'd be terrific if you can put that together. You bet.
You did touch on the longer term. I know this took longer than originally proposed, but if we'd be bidding it out, even a year after that start, it'd be 15 to 20% more than what we originally budgeted, so
Right.
the value is definitely there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a really good project, so
Okay.
appreciate it. So I will see you for sure at the ribbon cutting, and also probably to clean up the final change order as we wrap things up.
And you're going to bring that new mom with you?
She's been talking to the chief, so
Okay.
she gets the exciting part of opening it up after we finish construction.
There you go.
It's all good. So,
All right.
thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Consider approval of Resolution 2022-41, a resolution confirming the land use status of 601 Railway Street Southwest, Lonsdale, Minnesota 55046, parcel ID 19.26.3.00.007. Mr. Erickson.
All right, thank you, Mayor and members of the council. I was approached by the county engineer to consider this for approval. Basically, where this stems from is when Rice County they are still in the process of designing County Road 4, it was determined that they don't have the necessary right-of-way in front of this property. For whatever reason, it wasn't recorded, it wasn't deeded at that time, back in the 40s, 50s, whenever that was. So Rice County has to purchase permanent and temporary easements for the design of the project to be consistent throughout the whole, from 80th Street around the curve and then the County Road 4, or Highway 19, excuse me. So through the negotiations with the property owner, the property owners requested that the city approve a resolution stating that the non-conforming status does not change because of the county obtaining easements or construction of the right-of-way. The county engineer did take a stab at drafting the ordinance initially. It was reviewed by the property owners, they're in agreement with it, and once it was given to me, I just kind of cleaned it up a little bit, made sure that it was specific to this project. And I believe that this resolution does address the concerns of the property owner and still maintains the current land use status regardless of the sale of some of or purchase of some temporary and permanent easements. So by adopting the proposed resolution, the council is stating that the current land use designation shall not be changed and remain non-conforming as a result of the highway easements acquired by Rice County and or highway improvements associated with the project by them, and that Rice County will record this document with the recorder's office. Unless there's any questions, staff would recommend that this ordinance, or excuse me, resolution be adopted.
More of a housekeeping item than anything, I'm assuming.
Correct. Yep. Kind of part of the give and take with Rice County on some of the improvements and things like that that we have requested. So hopefully it's recognized through the design.
I think that was, could be my next question is, you know, I don't think we had probably too much time in on it, but I think Rice County can be reminded maybe that we were the mediator, I guess, for better words, once it gets to the project. I move we approve resolution 2022-41.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kadada, second by Councilman Webb. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Excuse me. Consider approval to reschedule the Thursday, November 24th, 2022 meeting to Monday, November 21st, 2022. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Well, this is an annual agenda item since we meet the last Thursdays of each month, and that's Thanksgiving. Staff's recommending, and hopefully it works for the council, rescheduling the November 24th meeting to Monday the 21st due to Thanksgiving being recognized as a federal and state holiday. So, unless there's any questions, staff would recommend to reschedule the November 24th meeting to November 21st.
And that would still be 7 PM?
Yes. Yep.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Palava,
Second.
second by Councilperson Fuhr. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of a proposal submitted by WSB in the not-to-exceed amount of $8,345 for engineering services for city utility improvements associated with the CASA 4 project. Mr. Erickson.
Thanks, Mayor, members of the council. Well, through the budget process, the council has agreed to include some city infrastructure improvements, sanitary sewer, water main. Now would be the time to make those improvements since the county's gonna have the county road tore up. So we've worked with them to request, and they've agreed to incorporate any improvements that the city desires be incorporated into the project. They've agreed to that. Basically, we just need to design it and provide them the documents so that they can incorporate it into their plans and contract. Because I reviewed the proposal, which is included in there. You can see the proposal and then kind of the hours associated with each phase of the project or scope of the proposal. If we are going to make these improvements, we do need to have them engineered and designed. So staff would recommend approval of the proposal submitted by WSB in the not-to-exceed amount of $8,345 for engineering services for associated city infrastructure with the County State Aid Highway 4 project.
Bless you.
I do think it is a good time to get some of our loose ends open, or, you know, open ends, get them tied in with this project as they're open on the county. Would this be any improvements here? Would that be just like a line item and bid out with Rice County, or would that be a separate?
It's my understanding that it'll be a line item in their bid.
Okay.
Their bid doc.
I think that's the best value for it too, doing it that way.
And this is next year's project? Is that the plan?
Correct.
I move we approve the bid from WSB in a not-to-exceed amount of $8,345.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second.
second by Councilperson Fuhr. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval to compensation Joe Dornfeld as interim public works director at grade 13, step 9, $40.85 an hour. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Well, with the special meeting held last week, Wednesday morning, Mr. Dornfeld was appointed interim public works director. Excuse me. And working with him to I guess, see if he was interested in the position and would accept it on an interim basis. He said yes and requested that he be compensated accordingly for assuming the additional responsibilities. So staff's recommending that Joe Dornfeld's wage be increased to grade 13 or $40.85 per hour during this interim time.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Palava,
Second.
second by Councilman Kadada. Any further discussion?
I have a couple of questions. Does Joe have the same licensure that the Public Works Director has?
He does not.
Okay. That would make me pause in giving him the exact same rate of pay.
Okay.
I would be more in favor of one of the steps down. I lost my page here now.
Any further discussion?
And did we not, we motioned to pay him, to leave his wage the same as when we had our meeting last Wednesday? Are we gonna, is this something that's gonna come to be discussed again at another meeting? Are we gonna be fluctuating the wage up and down if we say we don't, if we take a different course? You know, we don't know what the future is going to hold quite. You know, how is the wage going to be decided upon then? If the current Public Works Director comes back and Joe is then put back as his regular position, does his rate go back to his current? How does that work?
Yes, that would be my recommendation.
So this is only in the time that he is the interim Public Works Director.
Correct.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of Resolution 2022-42, a resolution approving a quote submitted by Tim's Trucking in the amount of $19,967 for the 3rd Avenue Southwest Drain Tile Improvement Project. Nick Williams, City Engineer.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. As part of last year's street reconstruction project, great improvements were made between the properties at 509 3rd and 503 3rd. This area is a low spot in the area. There's a lot of water drains to that current area, both from 4th Street there and surrounding areas. Although the grade improvements have improved the current situation, residents did contact staff and request that more be done, that there's water still standing there, especially during rain events. Staff did look at what to do there. We are recommending installation of some drain tile with a couple of inlets to really capture that water and get it into the channel and into the storm sewer system that was constructed as part of last year's project. We did ask numerous contractors for quotes. 2 quotes were received. Staff is recommending award a construction contract to Tim's Trucking, who submitted the lowest quote at $19,967. The alternative would be to not award a construction contract. Funding is available from the storm sewer fund. That concludes staff's report. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
This repair, it's directly correlated to the street improvement project?
Yes and no. I mean, it was part of the work that we did that year, but it's really a condition of the current situation with the low spot there. But it is related in, the city storm sewer was put there. We did grade it as part of last year. It's just not 100% working, how we wanted it to. So.
Well, I think the reason I asked that is, there's drainage issues throughout the city. And I think we have not really been involved in that too much. just because, you know, sometimes they fill the swales or put playground equipment, all that kind of stuff, so we stayed out of that. But in this particular case, I mean, if it's correlated to the construction project, well, then I think it's justifiable, you know, but if it's just, you know, somebody's got a drainage issue, you know, I don't think we'd be in favor of that, you know.
Right, it certainly correlates to, with the project,
Was this
with,
a condition prior to the project?
with the work that we,
Correct. Between, on the property line, there was a pre-existing swale that, it's my understanding, the city did construct back when that road was done or sometime before the project, that all those rear yards do drain into that.
Okay.
So it's not just, you know, we're, you know, run a drain tile through someone's backyard.
Right, right,
So,
right. Okay.
Do the as-built tie out with what was done there from the engineer's design?
the as-built from prior.
From the construction project?
Oh, yes, yep, so we have all that data, and that's how we were able to design the drain tile solution that ties into all that, yep.
Okay. I think when we go through with these street utility projects, I think it's a good idea to take care of every problem that we can. And this one actually was identified, I remember, at the neighborhood meeting beforehand, so
Right, right. Good point.
I move we enter into contract with Tim's Trucking.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second.
second by Councilman Palava. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of application for payment number 4 in the amount of $508,969.78 to BCM Construction for the 2022 Street and Utility Improvement Project. Mr. Nick?
Mayor, members of the council, the 2022 street improvement project is nearing completion. Happy to report. Restoration and sod is anticipated here at the end of the month. Work included as part of this payment includes the new concrete curb and gutter, driveway removal and replacement, new drain tile behind the curb, road reconstruction, and then the first layer of bituminous paving, including the wedge. Alternative tonight would be to not approve pay voucher number 4. It is staff's recommendation to approve pay voucher number 4 in the amount of $508,969.78 to BCM Construction. That concludes staff's report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Everybody happy with the project?
Everybody seems very happy with the project, yes.
Okay, no resident complaints, any of that kind of stuff, it seems to be good.
And very little,
Okay.
very minor, but everybody seems very happy.
Good, good. Nice. Done early this year, too?
Yeah, worked out really well.
Good, good deal.
I move we pay voucher number 4 to BCM Construction in the amount of $508,969.78.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kadada, second by Councilman Webb. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of pay request number 1 in the amount of $37,151.31 to Crane Creek Asphalt for the 2022 Trail Improvements Project. Mr. Nick?
Mayor, members of the council, the 2022 Trail Improvement Project is now also substantially complete. Project scope included the removal and replacement of the bituminous trail on the south side of Fig between 6th and 8th. Work as part of this payment includes the trail removal and replacement, erosion control, and the site restoration work. Alternative would be to not approve pay voucher number 1. It is staff's recommendation to approve pay voucher number 1 in the amount of $37,151.31 to Crane Creek Asphalt. That concludes staff's report. We have to answer any questions.
Okay, everybody happy with that project?
I think everyone's pretty happy. There's some minor punch list stuff that needs to be worked out, but we're working with them, and
Okay.
by the end of the day, before final payment's released, things will look very, very good.
Good.
I move we approve pay voucher number 1 to Crane Creek for $37,151.31.
Motion by Councilperson Furr,
Second.
second by Councilman Palava. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move the end of September meeting from Thursday to the prior Monday. I don't have the dates in front of me. Was it the 29th to the 26th? Is that what we said?
Yes.
Correct.
7 PM.
Seven PM?
Motion to move the September 29th meeting to September 26th.
Motion by Councilman Palava,
Second?
second by Councilperson Furr. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the original item of introduction of full-time police officer Cody Brotherton. Jason Schmitz, Chief of Police. So it looks like the gang is all here now, huh?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. After the resignation of full-time police officer Luke Morris back in October of 2021, I was approved and advertised to replace his position. During the hiring process, Cody Brotherton was selected for the full-time police officer's position. Officer Cody Brotherton successfully completed the background process and field training process and has been on his own for a month. Officer Cody Brotherton has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Criminal Justice with prior law enforcement experience in Cleveland, Lesueur Metro Transit, and the Rice County Sheriff's Department. Officer Cody Brotherton currently resides in the community where he enjoys spending time with his family and outdoors. And so with that, we are happy to have him on board and be at full staff.
Great. Well, welcome, good sir.
Thanks for having me.
You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I apologize for being late. I was at home. The wife was cracking the whip on a house project. It's my night off, so lost track of time. As the chief said, I went to school at Metropolitan State University and got 2 bachelor's degrees. Plenty of years in law enforcement, some downtown, some in the area. I live on the northeast side of town. Been here 4 years. Got to know Scott very well over that time, and
Feel bad for
raising
you.
my 2 kids. Love the community. Yeah, love the community. So figured, what better way to be involved in it
Good.
in a professional manner.
Good, great.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Much success.
Thank you.
Good.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good to be at full staff, though. You're right there.
Yeah. Otherwise, any other questions for me or
Just tell us about the police station. You're all settled in there?
getting there?
Get in there.
Getting there. It seems like we move stuff, I can't find stuff. No, but next week they're gonna finish with the storm doors. That should finish early next week. The generator is coming next Monday where they're gonna install that. Otherwise, just a few other minor things that we gotta work through technology-wise, and it should be completed. So,
What, the old building, as you're aware, we're gonna put that out for bids. I'm just wondering at what point we could start that process. I mean, ideally, I'd like to get it sold before winter if we could, but, you know, I don't know when you're out of there completely, or maybe you think about that, or,
I plan to be out of there by September 1.
really, okay.
I don't wanna drag this out
Right, right.
long at all. And we moved a lot of the stuff that we can, and, you know, some of the stuff I wanna wait till after the open house, because obviously there is gonna be some, we do have some sensitive material, and with people, in those areas, you know, obviously we can't be watching everybody all the time, so we just gotta make sure that, nobody gets into those sensitive materials, and
Right, right.
so.
So maybe towards the end of the month, we could actually start the advertising process, if nothing else.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the plan.
Good, good. Exciting times in Lonsdale for the police. That's good.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, it is different.
Candace is like, it's so quiet up here. Because we're so used to hearing the, you know, last couple of years, we have
You've had
construction.
Yeah,
But I mean, we could hear the activity downtown, Highway 19 or Central Street there, and now it's just quiet.
you want to touch on National Night Out a little bit? You were able to get out?
Yeah, we had 6 different events that we attended. Very good turnout.
Great,
It was warm, of course.
Yeah.
They always are, it seems like.
yeah.
But, so no, I think all the officers were in except for one, so we kind of split everyone up, and
Sure,
so it was a good time.
good, good. Well, thank you for all your work, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay, I believe that concludes the planned agenda. On to department reports. excuse me. Must be air infiltration. Maybe it's just me, I quit smoking or something, but. Mr. Dornfeld, anything in Public Works going on?
Mayor and Council, the Public Works Department has been busy getting ready for Community Days this week. We can report that the culverts on the Willow Creek Drive Trail, that project has been completed. We have asphalt millings over the top of the trail, which it turned out really good. We have our annual sign replacement going on right now where we budget money every year and replace a certain amount of neighborhoods depending on how many signs we can get. It's changing signs from 6 inches to 9 inches and complying with the retro reflectivity. Other things planned are the dugout materials are in, and dugout is planned to start getting its roof on. And the sidewalks survey will be taking place. So you'll see some fresh lines painted for trip hazards.
Good, good. I assume you're dialed in with the Chamber of Commerce for Community Days and
Yes,
all
we've
that
been
stuff.
working together this week. Just getting everything lined up. Hopefully
Good.
the rain holds off for that date.
Hope so. Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams.
Yeah, Mayor, members of the council, I just wanted to report that the final layer of payment on last year's job was placed this week, so we're working on wrapping that up. Do a final punch list block, don't expect to see much based on what I've seen so far. And then we'll get it finally closed out here, probably the first meeting in September.
Great. Yeah, nice to get finalized. Is the 2-year warranties on those projects yet?
2-year warranty once we accept it, so that'll start, if we, I'm anticipating September 8th is when we would accept it, that's when the 2-year warranty would start.
Good, good.
In that project, there's a couple of curb replacements that happen before they asphalted. Do they backfill those curbs with that?
Did they backfill the curbs? I'm pretty sure they did, yeah. The only thing that was on there was a couple things on the storm sewer left that they had to do.
Right.
But I think.
There was a couple that were open yet.
Is it still open?
Yeah.
Okay, I will double check that.
I know it was specific one in detail.
Okay. All right, I will make sure, I'll make sure that gets addressed.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Erickson.
All right, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Working with WIDSEF on small cities grant application. We sent out, I think, over 400 notices of survey of interest, excuse me, which kind of documented the houses, the incomes, if people were interested in applying for the grant, and then if so, what improvements that they would like to see made. Those were due on the 29th. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I want to say we received like 30-some back for housing, and of those, probably about half were income eligible. For various reasons, we didn't receive any commercial building interest surveys back. For whatever reason, I'm not sure. So we are working on defining the target area, so we can work towards submitting a pre-application to determine if we're eligible or qualify for a final application, which would be submitted in November, and we would know in March of '23 if we were awarded.
I'm surprised there was no commercial response. There's one gentleman that bought a building on South Main. He's got some issues there that I told him to come to City Hall there and see if he could apply for some grants or something, but.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure for what reasons, but unfortunately, we didn't receive any.
Okay.
We've got a budget meeting on Monday, the 15th. The library director and myself will be meeting with the villages of Lonsdale to review the agreement that we have, I guess with them now, for the library. We'll be scheduling interviews for liquor store clerk next Thursday. And then on the 25th, TCU is doing their new teacher orientation welcome. So they'll be coming to Lonsdale and we'll give the rah-rah.
They get younger every year. My gosh, they look like high school kids last year.
It's not because we're getting older, so.
It can't
The accounting tech, she is starting on Monday, the 22nd. So one more week with just Tammy and I at City Hall, so that'll be greatly appreciated. And with that, I just want to thank the Public Works Department and the Police Department for helping us during this time. And then also our City Treasurer, Tammy Brokel, she's really stepped up and assumed a lot of responsibilities and put in a lot of hours to keep us on track with where we need to be, so.
Well, I just want to
Shout out
echo,
to them.
yeah, I just want to echo that in you yourself. I know you guys are probably pushing 50, 60 hours a week, and it's a lot of stuff, a lot of load to carry. Just want to make sure you know you're appreciated and you're doing a good job. Thank you. Mr. Councilman Webb.
Nothing new to report. You already talked about the library, the liquor.
Councilman Kadada.
Nothing new on parks or planning and zoning. I did go to National Night Out the last Tuesday. I think I attended 4 of them, and they're very well attended. And it's kind of nice to be out in the public and get that input from those people, and very well received.
Yeah, good.
Nothing earth-shattering though, which is good.
Well, after what, 18, 19 years, you know, it's good.
Exactly.
Thank you. Councilperson Fuhrer.
The EDA will be meeting next Thursday, and then we will also have, as Joel said, the interviews for the liquor store position.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Palava.
Cindy covered the EDA, police chief covered the police department, so I guess just community day, like, what, 48 hours or something like that, or 36 hours, whatever. It's still, volunteers could still be signed up for, or if you want to sign up, it's available, I think through the chamber. I think if you visit the chamber website, there's still spots available, so you can earn free, for working, meal vouchers and stuff like that, so don't go away empty-handed.
Good. Thank you for all your work in there too. I know you've done a lot. A couple things, I think the council is aware, but the proposed car wash, the bank is hosting a neighborhood get-together next Thursday night. I know some residents are against that, but I certainly would encourage people to go to that and see what they got to say. And you know, you hate to discourage business in town. On the other hand, of course, you don't want to impact the existing residents and all those kind of things. And it sure be nice if we could figure out a kind of happy medium there, something to balance out. But I did chat with a couple of developers over the last week. I think, as you know, we're going to be running short on lots if the housing, once it picks up again. The developer, excuse me, by the villages there. I did have a chance to talk to him, and I think he's a little more open-minded about developing. I did reiterate, and I would assume this is all our perspective, that at one time there's some discussions about small homes and small lots and those kind of things, and kind of discourage him from that. I think you want nice homes that kind of meld with the rest of the neighborhood and those kind of things, and I said ideally like a 55 and over area, slab on grade, things like that would be certainly, I think, something that's needed in town. So hopefully we can get him to move forward. Another developer on the west side of town, I chatted with him a little bit about that, and there's some construction issues that I think drive the cost quite a bit, but I think if once the market picks up again, he may consider coming back to the table on that. But it'd be nice to keep the growth and the ball rolling if we can.
Mm-hmm.
But just in closing with Community Days, just to reiterate what Councilman Palava said, Shanna and Chastity and the board and everybody's done a lot of work at Community Days, and I think over the last many years we all have volunteered a lot of hours, and successful events don't happen without volunteers. But just want to give a big shout out to them putting it together, and I think they're expecting some pretty big crowds, pretty big parade and kiddies paddle a pole and all that jazz. So just want to give a big thank you for that, and hopefully everybody can attend. That's all I got.
Move adjourned.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fuhr. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This meeting's adjourned.